Okay, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great Sunday morning. So, if you can see me and hear me, I wonder if you would mind doing me a big favor right now and typing a 1 in the comment box on your LinkedIn or YouTube. So that'll just give me some assurance that this is all getting broadcast to you. Okay. Right. So today we're going to talk about this question. So, why video is now the internet's strongest trust signal? And by the way, so if you have any questions as I'm going through this, please ask the question. As you have it. Don't wait to the end. So just pop your question in the comments box as well. All right. So let's start off with some bold assumptions here, as per usual. So I'm assuming that you're here because you are the owner or manager of an optometry practice or an audiology practice, or an ophthalmology practice for that matter, and you're interested in growing your practice. And if any of what I talk about today resonates with you or sparks an interest for you, then by all means, please reach out. You can contact me directly through LinkedIn or through my agency's website, which is opticsdigital.net. So this is what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to talk about 3 things. So why video is more important than ever, what kinds of videos work best, and how your practice can get started with making videos to grow your business and increase online awareness of your brand. So before that, who am I? Well, my name is Paul Salloway. I'm the owner of Optics Digital. We're a marketing agency that helps independent eye care and hearing care professionals. So I've been in digital marketing since 2008. And started this agency at the end of 2022, and we've helped many clients throughout Australia to increase their online visibility during that time. All right, so let's answer the question. So why is video becoming the internet's most important trust signal? Well, I think, as we all know, so AI has really exploded in the last few years. And so now it's now easier than ever to produce textual content at scale. Now, true, I think a lot of that written content is low quality, right? But it's still a saturated marketplace now. And yet at the same time, according to many studies and one statistic that I saw, 83% of people say they prefer video over audio or text when they want to learn something. And I think this tracks. I think we've heard people complaining for a long time that people aren't reading enough anymore, that a lot more people are turning to consuming video in particular to get information. So that's the trend that consumer behavior is going in. And a couple of years ago, I would have said that although AI produced videos are getting much better, we can still tell when something is produced by AI rather than being a genuine human. I'm not so sure I can say that anymore, because I have seen some videos produced by AI, and they are very, very lifelike, and it's like getting very hard to tell the difference now. So having said that, I've never used AI to produce a clone of myself. I think that would be weird. But I think that all of this means that when people have confidence that the video that they are watching is produced by a genuine human, warts and all, then that builds trust. So this type of experience now is creating the know, like, and trust factors that resonate with patients before they even book an appointment with you. And what I'm hearing from our clients who we help produce video content is that a lot of their new patients who see this video content when they come into the clinic, they seem much better informed. They're asking very good questions. They're more receptive to hearing information about advanced treatments. I've had some of our clients say that they get people who come in and it's the very first time they've met them, but they already the way they talk and their tone, the language, they have they seem to have some familiarity already, and it comes from probably watching several videos produced by that practice owner over time. What I'm also hearing from some of our clients is that people are prepared to travel further and further distances simply because they've seen a video that was produced. Like, we've got a client in Tasmania near Hobart, and he says that he's had several clients actually several patients who've traveled from all over the state to come and see him because they've seen a video about dry eye treatment, for example. So I think that it's unequivocal that video does really strengthen those know, like, and trust factors, which are essential when it comes to healthcare marketing. And by creating video as well, particularly for YouTube, so this is becoming more and more important in terms of your visibility within Google. I've talked in previous episodes about how Google's search results page today looks nothing like it did 10 years ago. So maybe 10 years ago, you had the list of 10 blue links, 10 things that you can click on which would take you to another website. Nowadays, Google's search engine result page is typically got an AI overview. It's got ads, of course. They've always had those. It's got the local map pack. It's got maybe people also ask those toggle questions. People also search for, and it's depending on the type of search query, but it's typically got some YouTube thumbnails as well. So all of this is like very prominent at the top of the page. So if you can get some of your videos into that YouTube thumbnail carousel, then you're increasing your visibility way more than you would normally have. And another thing is LMMs, large language models, AI platforms like ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever. So these reference video content when they are looking to answer questions or queries. So all of these tools now can pass and interpret the transcripts from what's on YouTube. And so as more and more people turn to AI tools and even AI agents, which is a whole other topic, but as the internet becomes more AI centric, then video content that you produce, which demonstrates your knowledge, your experience and expertise, the AI platforms are going to be referencing this more and more and recommending you and your content to people who are making queries. And also, don't forget that video content is evergreen, particularly long form video content. Short form maybe not so much, but particularly long form content. So one good video that you make can end up attracting new patients for years and years. Okay. I don't know if YouTube has an expiration date on their videos, but I've had some of mine that have been on there for a very long time now, like we're talking more than a decade. So it's a long-term asset if you produce it. So it's once you make it, once you publish it, it's out there working for you every day. So what kinds of videos work best? Well, so I've already mentioned long form video, and when I say long form, I'm thinking like 15 to 45 minutes. I think that's kind of the sweet spot. I know there are videos that go longer than that. I've certainly made videos that are longer than that. So I think that the length kind of depends on what topic you're discussing and what depth you want to go into. Um, I think, but I think 15 to 45 minutes is sort of like a good parameter for what you should be trying to produce. Long form video, it's ideal for YouTube. I mean, that was the whole purpose of YouTube in the beginning, for long form content. So shorts, YouTube shorts, that's a relatively recent thing in their history. So YouTube's always been about producing longer form content. And I know some people are skeptical about it. Nobody's got time to watch 45 minutes of video. Well, I disagree. I think that I think there are all types of use cases, So sometimes people really do want to settle in and listen to something that's explained. Like, we're talking mostly about educational videos here, but people do want to settle in and listen to something that's explained in detail, in depth, by somebody who has obvious expertise. One thing that a lot of people do, of course, also is when they produce a podcast, you've got the audio for it, of course, but if you're producing a podcast, you might want to also record that and publish it as a video podcast. So YouTube has a special channel now dedicated for podcasts. I've done lots of audio podcasts. I don't typically record the video, or I don't typically use the video component of it. That's just a personal decision, because it just makes editing a lot easier and so on. But it's not a bad idea to do that. So some really popular YouTube channels started their life as a purely audio podcast. So there's long form video. What we do in my agency when we help clients produce long form content is we will plan out what that long form content is going to be, and the types of questions that are going to be answered within it. And then we might separate out those questions into what we call medium form content. I don't think that's an industry term. It's something that we've just used in-house here, but medium form content means typically around 3 to 15 minutes. So you're answering like a specific question. It might be like a frequently asked question. For example, patient might have a question like, what is tinnitus retraining therapy, for the audiologists out there, and they just want to know specifically around that question. They don't want to know about like earwax removal. They don't want to know about hearing aid tuning and maintenance. They don't want to know anything about that. If they're looking for answers to a very specific question, this is where medium content shines. And you can use that on your website if you've got a blog article that talks about something specific, let's say like tinnitus retraining therapy. Then I think the best idea is to take that medium form video and embed it in that blog piece, in that page. You can also use it. It's also very good for embedding the link into email newsletters. And I've talked before about why email marketing is such a great idea, and frankly, more people should be taking advantage of it. And short form videos have really exploded, I think, in the last 5 years. What we found is that, and it's really hard to see why, but some short form videos just explode, just get viral reach. Like, we're talking thousands of views. We've produced videos for our clients and published the long form, published the medium form, and published the short form. And even within YouTube, some of these shorts, we might publish them, and within days they'll get thousands of views. So I think they're a very good, very effective tool for getting reach of your message and spreading awareness of your clinic name, your brand. So there are many platforms now that encourage publishers to upload short form videos. YouTube, of course. TikTok is another one. I think it was last week, but we were in a recent video where I explained that if you're producing short form content, you should really use both TikTok and YouTube, because they rely on different algorithms. So what we've seen is that videos that do really well, say on YouTube, might not do as well on TikTok, but vice versa. Something might get heaps of views on TikTok, but not so much YouTube. So it comes down to the way that those two platforms operate a little differently. They use different algorithms for distributing that content. Both the Meta platforms, Instagram and Facebook, of course, so great for uploading reels there, short form videos. Even LinkedIn. I know LinkedIn is sort of like experimented, and maybe it hasn't been a complete rollout for everyone, but for a while there, LinkedIn they were encouraging people to upload short form videos. I'm not sure if that's still the case or not. Snapchat. So I talked about Snapchat as being one of those like blue ocean opportunities. Not necessarily something that every healthcare practitioner might find value in, but particularly if you're, let's say, like an eyewear clinic, right? So you're selling prescription frames, prescription sunglasses. So Snapchat's a very visual medium. One of the media content types that does very well on Snapchat is very short videos, like micro videos, less than 10 seconds even. And so stories. So Snapchat and Instagram, for that matter, they have a place for stories, which is which is content that has like a very short, usually 24-hour lifespan. Although I think within Instagram, at least, you can extend that, but the idea is that that stories are very short form. So it's a great way of getting exposure through these micro videos. So what I would say is that short form is good for building that visibility, building that awareness. Not necessarily the best approach for building deep trust, though. Like, I don't know how many of you have heard of Alex Hormozi. So he's a very sort of he's very well known in the digital marketing world, and he has like a huge online following, huge video channel, YouTube, and he said either last year or the year before that they're going to stop making short form videos, because they find that while they might see those short forms, they don't necessarily engage with them, don't necessarily become paying customers. So I think there is some evidence there, and some, I think there are some opinions now that longer form is much better in terms of building the know, like, and trust factors that are really important. And I'll say that the last video format on there is live video, like the one you're watching now. So it's not the easiest format to produce, but I think that this kind of like real time engagement can be a massive trust builder. I know guys who've built pretty large Facebook groups, Facebook communities, and they did that by doing regular live broadcasts, regular video lives, which people would tune in to watch. So the thing about live videos is there's no filter, there's no retakes, and even if there are some bumps and hiccups along the way, I think people generally respect that and understand that. Most of the social media platforms out there have features which allow you to go live. So YouTube, of course, LinkedIn, of course, the Meta platforms. So I think I started doing lives on Instagram, like simply grabbing my phone and going out to the park and speaking to a handful of people watching me in real time. So that was a bit of a challenge at first, but like anything, you get better at it the more repetitions that you put in. So now one of the things which might make medical practitioners hesitate about this is the whole question of how do you deal with people asking questions about their own specific medical situation. Now, I think you've got to have a sort of a prepared answer for that, along the lines of like, I can only give general advice. I don't know your specific medical situation. I'm not your practitioner. So just be aware that you will get those types of questions, but you can think of a sort of like a tactful way of responding to those. So how can you get started? Okay, how can your practice get started with creating video content? So the barriers to entry are lower than they've ever been. So in our agency, we have people who are experienced video editors, and we tend to use our own video editors for producing quality long form, medium form, short form video content. But that's not to say that you can't DIY and do it in-house yourself. So I think I'd say the first thing to consider is invest in a good quality microphone. Okay, good audio matters even more than camera quality. You don't need an expensive camera. I would invest $100 on a good quality microphone. So I'm using Blue Yeti is the microphone I use. I think it does a great job. I have looked back at some of the videos that I produced years ago where I had like a headset with one of those attached microphones, and there's no comparison in terms of the audio quality. It sounds like very tinny. It just doesn't sound as good. Even like built-in microphones with your laptop, I think it's not as good. Do yourself a favor and invest in a good quality microphone. That's the one piece of equipment I think you do need. Some form of simple lighting is almost important. Like right now, I'm using a soft box. So soft box is just like it's a big light that gives a diffused sort of general lighting to your environment. A ring light can work as well. So a ring light's sort of much simpler. And I think that even without any of those things, if you've got access to some kind of good natural light, for example, if you're sitting near a window on a sunny day, that can do just as good a job. Obviously, there are some limitations around that. If you're relying on natural light, then maybe the evening's not going to be the best time to produce video content for you. So so think about your lighting. Consider maybe getting a gimbal. So for those who don't know, so a gimbal is one of those things that you can hold in your hand and your smartphone sits in there, and it provides kind of like a stable platform as you walk and talk. And this type of video format does seem to do very well, by the way. I think people like the kind of dynamic background as people are walking through their park or through their neighborhood and recording. It always looks very engaging, looks very authentic. But what people don't like watching is like the shaky, the shaky cam effect that sort of can be very hard to focus on. So if you're going to do walk and talk videos, I'd say invest in a gimbal. Again, not that much. I think you can get them for like $100 to $200. Plan your key talking points rather than scripting every word. So I think have a general outline of what you want to talk about. So whether that be a recorded video that you go back and edit, or doing it live, I think it always pays to have some structure in mind. Okay, have some sort of like maybe introduction, some list of key points that you want to cover, finish with a call to action. I do think there's no shame in having like a scripted call to action, like, call this number, contact us on this website, because you don't want to mess those details up. So, but I don't think it's a good idea to read the whole thing from a script. It just seems very wooden. It's just not very engaging to do it that way. I have tried on occasions where I wanted to get the video or get my content word perfect. I might have something specific I wanted to say, where I have used a video teleprompter. So there are some tools available. One is called Descript, which is pretty good if you want to take that route. If you feel like you do need to you do need some kind of a script to follow. The problem I found with it, though, was as I was concentrating on the script, I wasn't making eye contact with the camera, and it just didn't produce the kind of video results that I wanted. Having said that, I've heard that in recent releases of that tool, and there may be others, there's a tiny AI tweak feature which you can implement now, which will, through the magic of AI, reposition where your eyes appear to be focusing towards the camera. So I've talked before about how authenticity is kind of the whole point of doing this, but I think that's a small tweak that's acceptable. It just produces a better experience if you can maintain that eye contact. So yeah, if you do find that you want to use a teleprompter, then these tools can be good. In terms of repurposing, so I think that probably the most realistic way for most practices to produce short form content at scale, at least, is to record your longer videos and then use a tool like Opus Clip. There are many others that will take that longer form video and cut and chop and parcel that for you into a series of short form videos that you can then use. And you may have to do some minor editing with each of them, but I think these tools are really good for getting the maximum bang for your buck out of long form video and really leveraging your time. So if you do want to do your own in-house video editing, like maybe include some transition effects between cuts, include maybe like some overview texts, include some call to actions, that sort of thing, then basic video editing tool like iMovie, which comes with any Apple product, that seems to be perfectly adequate for getting started. Sorry, Windows users. I think Windows has a similar sort of feature, but I'm an Apple user. If you want to get more advanced, there are some other tools like Adobe Premiere, which is a paid tool. DaVinci Resolve is a free kind of open source tool that you can use if you want to do more advanced editing. Like I say, in our agency, we rely on in-house video editors who use some of these tools. I think behind the scenes videos also are really great. They always seem to generate some of the highest engagement with people's social profiles. For example, when I see clients who take like a 30-second or a 1-minute video behind the scenes, like this is us unpacking a new box of contact lenses, new brand of contact lenses that have just come out from Johnson & Johnson or something like that. it might seem very sort of like banal to you, but regardless, these types of behind the scenes videos do seem to attract a lot of engagement, heaps of likes, comments, shares, and it's the human aspect to it, right? So people can see that there are actual real people behind the healthcare provider, behind the optometry practice or ophthalmology practice or audiology practice or whatever it might be. So I've seen, for example, some optometry practices who have like a monthly draw. They might give away like a pair of prescription frames every month, and but you need to put your details into the drawer, and they'll do the draw on video and record it and publish it on their social media feeds. And I think that's a great idea. And as I said, it's always a great idea to republish these videos on your website for evergreen returns. So we're actually going through this process at the moment with one client who's got a very extensive library of video assets that they produced, and we're actually republishing all of those videos and the transcripts onto their website. So all of these transcripts contain very like keyword rich content that will help them with search engine visibility. So this is all about like getting maximum value out of your time and out of your marketing budget. So I'll leave you with a final thought here, which is short videos create awareness, longer videos build trust, and together they help patients choose your practice with confidence. So as I said, so video is becoming the most important trust signal now online. So if you're not taking advantage of that, then others will be. Okay, so if you'd like to reach out for a quick chat about how my digital marketing agency can help your practice to build online visibility, get more patient bookings, get more bookings for the types of premium services that you offer, then you can reach out to me through our website, which is opticsdigital.net, or you can contact me through a direct message on LinkedIn, or even email me, paul@opticsdigital.net. All right, so let's wrap up there. So I hope this has been helpful for some of you, and so have a great Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.